Great morning, great morning, great morning. It feels incredible to be back. I am with you, and it is absolutely extraordinary. I cannot begin to tell you how very much. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to all of you for the condolences at the passing of my dad. I didn't share with folks who it actually was, but I want to say thank you very, very much. We are broadcasting direct and live on the Wealth Warriors page. I have to say it is a tad bit new for me, and so to that end, I'm going to ask you to bear with me, but however, I am very, very enthusiastic, so I just needed to be able to share that with you. We've changed up the format. There is a lot to share, a lot to talk about. And so I want to get started by saying I am Brent Harding, and it is a pleasure to be with you after a long period away. Thank you so much for all of your well wishes. The project that I was working on has been and is a success, and so I am absolutely enthusiastic. So today is the first day of broadcasting in 2018. Can you believe it? It's already 2018. I know folks are saying, Brent, you're behind the eight ball. It's been 2018 since January 1st. Okay, I have that. Well, today's broadcast is really going to be focused on separating out the career builders, those that have full-time or part-time jobs, from the entrepreneurs and the business owners. And I'm going to share a lot more about that with you. So what can you expect for today? You can expect that the format, one, has changed. I am broadcasting direct and live from the actual Wealth Warrior broadcast channel. That's number one. So I'm not going through all the other outlets anymore. I am feeding direct to you. Second, what can you expect? I will be sharing the product line or the system that I'm going to be using going forward to provide information to you about wealth building. Next, you're going to hear me talk about, again, separating out the career builders from those individuals that are entrepreneurs or small business owners. So there's going to be a shift, and I'm going to separate those two out. Why? So that I can give you stronger, forceful information. So those are among the things. I've got a lot of content to share. So I'm going to tell you something. Get your pen and paper out, because we are going to be rocking it. Now, before I do anything else, what am I going to say? This part hasn't changed. Pick up the phone, hit the share button, and share with your friends and family. We want to grow the numbers and let people know that we've got content to give and content to spare, because again, the whole dynamic is changing. So it's hit the share button on the cell phone and get the word out. Oh my goodness. So with that being said, there are a number of things. You're going to see me looking down. I feel like a news broadcaster. You're going to see me sharing a number of things. But again, the focus is going to be for the Wealth Warrior community, that we're talking to those individuals primarily that are working full-time jobs, part-time jobs, may have a part-time business, but really the focus is on the job builders, the career builders. And then we have something that's going to focus in on another broadcast that's going to focus in on the entrepreneurs and those that are small business owners. And by no means are we cutting those folks out. We're just sharing with you the focus for the wealth building on this side is going to really be on those job seekers, those career builders. So with that being said, I want to share with you that a lot of the content that you will hear today comes from My Econ. And you can visit the My Econ page at Brent Harding at myecon.net. That's my name, BrentHarding, at my econ.net. So you're going to hear a lot of that content. If you want to get a prelude about what's going on, you can go to that page. If you want to get more depthful about your wealth building, not only can you go to that page, you can actually get a subscription for yourself to that page as well as the content, and it will be outstanding. That's what I want to make sure that you know. Gotta give acknowledgments and shout outs. First of all, new early riser. I want to say Franz Conde from Conde Global Nation. Great morning to you. You are the early riser. And I want to give a shout out and say, Pamela Stowe, good morning. Oh, my. To you, my darling. Nancy Lewis Hill, good morning to ya. Juanita Grant, good morning. I can see everybody in my feed now, so it's really easy to hit up and say good mornings and the like. Thank you for being with me this morning, the first broadcast of the 2018 period, and I have the faithful and true. Thank you for being here. With that being said, again, want to invite you, as you are hearing the content, you want to know more, hear more, I am encouraging you to go up to Brent Harding at myecon.net to get more depth on what we're talking about. With that being said, here's what I want to share with you this morning. America is by far the wealthiest nation. Literally the wealthiest, or it certainly is one of the wealthiest countries in the world. And the reason why we can say that is because statistically, we Americans own 25% of the world's wealth. Now, what does that mean exactly? Here's the deal. There are 8 billion people earthwide, billion people earthwide. 25% of that wealth is in the United States. What exactly does that mean? Here's what it means. It means that we in the United States, there are literally 536 billionaires in the United States. 536 billionaires. There are 7 million millionaires in the United States. We are, in fact, a wealthy country. 25% of the world's wealth is right here. And with that being said, 80% of the U.S. population, 80% of all Americans feel that we are falling behind financially. And the sad part is it is true. And so this show is redesigning itself to deal with wealth building, and in particular to deal with wealth building for people that are job seekers, for people that are career builders that have a conventional job, to say, and that's a significant part of the population, to say, guess what? You have the ability to create wealth. And I'll tell you what's interesting. You probably had no idea that that, in fact, is the case. Let me give you a few more statistics, if you will. The Social Security Administration has made some pronouncements. And the fascinating thing about those pronouncements is I am sure that many of us have heard about these pronouncements in the past. And what does that mean? Here it is. If you take 100 people, take 100, out of those 100 people by age 65, 36 have died. For parents, it is a sad testimony when our children, when we're burying our children, when our children have passed before us, for whatever the case may be. Now listen, you're saying, Brent, I woke up Saturday morning to hear this? Yes, because the truth is the light. If you want the truth, if you want your ear tickled, as my mom would say, I'm not the one, because I'm going to be transparent. Why? Because I have discovered a stronger way to help us create the wealth. We're still targeted for the 60 months. However, looking for tools that will help us get there. And I found a phenomenal tool. It was brought to me and I'm bringing it to you. And it's membership driven. It is easy to access and it gives you the power to make this happen. So for those of us that have conventional jobs, this one is for you. So let me tell you a little bit more about what the Social Security Administration discovered out of the 100. We said 36 had passed. 54 by age 65 are either financially dependent on family or on welfare in one of the wealthiest countries in the world. 25% of the world's population's wealth right here. And yet, if you were to take 100 people and just multiply that out, but to take 100 people, 54 are financially dependent on their family or on welfare. And yet, this was the American dream was to have home ownership, was to be able to work hard, to be able to create wealth. And yet, the statistics are showing that that's not happening. 5 are still working. At 65, they have now possibly retired from one job and are picking up another job. And that is real. 4 actually become financially successful. Now, financially successful is defined in many ways, but the premise of that financially successful is they're able to pay their bills, they're able to pay their medication, they're able to pay for their health insurance. They may be able to go on a vacation once a year, twice a year, if they've really buckled down. Pay their taxes. That would be considered financially successful. And 1 person in 100 actually becomes wealthy. In a country that has massive wealth. And yet that is what is happening. So with that being said, in my mind, it demanded for me to take a different tactic for our wealth building, to find wealth building models. Because one of the most powerful things is that we're not replicating, we're not trying to create something new when successful things work. It's finding the right model that makes the difference. And I'm telling you truly, I know I found it for you. Not only for myself. See, I'm not going to be selfish and hold it to me. No, I am doing this for us because that is my charge. That's part of my mission. There is a level that's part of my give back. We all look to have some form of philanthropy in our lives. And here's an opportunity to be philanthropic. There is a way to join, literally to join and create a membership for yourself that gives you wealth. So I get the opportunity to share that with you. Now, I'm getting ready to hit you up with some good stuff. I'm going to say again, pick up the phone, hit the share button, and share this with folks. Share this with your family and your friends, because here's the deal. The beauty of this is good for everybody. And in fact, not only is it good for everybody, this is an opportunity for you to share something that you don't even have to pay for. You get to share it and say, hey, come on in. If you want some, come on in. The water is warm in this pool, and that's what you want. So with that being said, here's what I want to talk about. Today, the topic is minimizing our tax strategy, because wealth begins with how much can I keep? You know what that adage is? It's not how much you make, it's how much can you keep. And the wealthy keep it. And this is the right time of year because we're handling and dealing with our taxes. So it only makes sense that we'd have a tax strategy. Now, I'm pulling a lot of this right from the membership portal at brentharding.myecon.net. So let me share with you the first strategy. It's minimizing your taxes because you and I, we lose 1/3 of our income through taxes. 1/3. Before you get to do anything with your check, you've paid your state and federal taxes. What we always say, we got Uncle Sam and we've got Sister Mass or Brother Mass. We've got Uncle Sam and we've got Cousin Massachusetts. And before we get the check, they've already gotten paid, and it's not a choice. So we've got to be able to counter that. And the only way we counter it is by understanding and learning about it. And you've got a couple of vehicles for doing that. You've got the Wealth Warrior broadcast, which is back every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. EST. And we've got some folks they're joining us from California. That's okay. I want to see us from around the world. And here's the beauty, is what we're sharing with you. In every country, there is some form of taxation. So take the information that you have here and you can drop it on top of what is happening in your country to see what can be applied, what is applicable. So granted, this is US based. Now what you get to do is pick it up and see how it can be applied in your country. And by the way, share that with us. When you find out how it works in your country, if it works differently in the in Trinidad from the US, if it works differently in Canada, if it works differently in Africa, if it works differently in Europe, share with us how you took the content and then you mirrored it for your own country and made it work. So here's the deal. This first method is to correct the tax withholding because 80% of all employees are actually having too much withheld. And what does that mean? That means we cannot use our own money. And in some instances, I don't know about you, but there are times when people feel like they're begging for their money through that tax return. They are begging to get the money back and they're waiting to see, oh, am I going to get something back? Oh, am I going to get a tax return? Or am I going to get this? Have you ever felt like you're begging? Please give me some money back. Please, can I have it, sir? Can I have some food, please? No, we're grown folks. We are grown folks. There are wealthy people that are literally paying 13% tax. You and I, 39%, if we are working full-time jobs. Now again, full-time or part-time, doesn't matter. Remember, audience, that I am focused, this dialogue is really focused on those that have full-time jobs, part-time jobs. You might have a full-time job in a small business. You might have a part-time job in a small business. But this is really focused on those that are W-2 employees. We've got another segment. We're working on another piece for our entrepreneurs. Right now, if you are a W-2, if you're a 1099, there are elements of this that are going to work for you. So that's who I'm reaching out and grabbing, and I'm asking you to invite them in. Now, for those that are actually entrepreneurs in small business, you're going to get something from this. However, what I really want you to focus in on is understanding W-2s, 1099s, come on down. This one is for you. With that being said, what we do at MyEcon is we're advocates to help you get access so that you can DIY, do it yourself so that you can figure out how to make this work. There is a membership portal that you can jump into and you can take it at your pace. There are videos for you to watch that will give you content that you can utilize. So when I say withholding, some of us, there is a methodology in which you can increase the withholdings and you can pull back more capital. And when you do, it can benefit you. And that's what I'm going to be talking about in the remainder of the broadcast today. I want to give some acknowledgments and also share my live calendar with you. So right now it is acknowledgement and calendar time. I am going to be live on March 28th. I will be doing a networking and after party event. For those of you that were at the E3 Power Up, we're just continuing it on. That's right, with a networking and after party event. It's going to be on March 28th. That's Wednesday evening. It'll be at the Point Boston, which is at 147 Hanover Street in Boston. It starts at 6:30 p.m. and it goes from 6:30 to 9 p.m. Parking is at the Boston Public Parking Garage, which is up underneath the Boston, which is rather above the Boston Public Marketplace. So it is directly across the street. There is parking available. And also you can take the orange line to Haymarket, get off, come upstairs, and it's right around the corner. It's called the Point Boston. We'll be on the second floor. And again, that's Wednesday, March 28th. It is a networking and after party. And I have to tell you, the last one we had, did connections get made? I want to give a shout out to Janelle Richardson. Thank you very much for your referrals. I appreciate that tremendously. Awesome. I want to say hello and thank you to, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm having a brain burp. Albertha Bogan, who not only attended, made connections, but she was also an event ambassador. Thank you. I appreciate you tremendously, Althea Bogan. And I want to continue those shout outs. We had a great time there. Gail Wilson was there. I mean, really, Bernard McLean there, attended, made connections. It is about networking. And here's the beauty of this event. This event is for entrepreneurs. It is for job seekers. The point is, everybody that comes there knows it's about networking. There's no shame in the game. There's no having to do a warm-up. You know why you're there. You're there to network and make connections. So again, that is Wednesday, the 28th, 2018, networking and after party at the Point Boston, 147 Hanover Street, Boston, 6:30 to 9 p.m. And it's accessible by public transportation or parking. Tickets will be available on Eventbrite this afternoon after 3 p.m. You can get your tickets. Also want to share with you that I will be speaking. I will actually be speaking on Thursday, the 29th, at the Dudley Main Street's annual Women Entrepreneurs Breakfast. And the subject matter, networking, of course. It just so happens they're like bump to bump, back to back. That's going to be a breakfast. So you go there Wednesday night, you get up Thursday morning, and guess what? You're attending the event. That's going to be at the Bruce Bowling Building. That's at 2301 Washington Street, Roxbury, Massachusetts. And there is parking. There's a parking on the street, and there is a parking lot that is also on Washington Street, literally footstops away from the event. Tickets are on sale on Eventbrite right now. All you have to do is look up Dudley Main Street. So again, that's going to be Thursday, March 29th, and that'll be from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. It's going to be at the Bruce Bowling Building, 2301 Washington Street in Roxbury. It's an annual event. Last year, there were, I believe, 75 women at this event, and this is open to everyone, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a job seeker, small business owner. It is open to everyone, and I have the privilege of being the keynote speaker. Yay! Oh my goodness. You want to talk about excited? March, I don't know, it's just New England. Everything comes alive. It is absolutely amazing, and I am totally psyched about it. So listen, let me get back, now that I've talked about that, let me get back to the other part of that, minimizing your tax strategy. Here's the deal. This system helps the W-2 and 1099 person. It helps them to maximize their take-home pay. And in particular, this piece right here is really about the W-2. If you are part-time or full-time W-2 employee, what happens is your take-home pay is actually going to be increased when you use this system. And this system, again, is about correcting the tax withholding. The money that you will save actually allows people to invest and to eliminate debt. You know, there is a such thing as paying that 30-year mortgage off early. That really can happen. You know, people figure, oh, well, you know, it's 30 years, I'm going to have it for life. No, it doesn't have to be that way. The money that you will save it, here's what I mean. If a person uses this, for example, they literally increase, there have been people that have literally increased their take-home pay by as much as $500 a month. $500 a month, that's $6,000 a year. And they have invested it in something at 8% and got a return on their investment. What does that mean over a 15-year period? That means 170. You keep rolling that money, that's $175,000 that goes to you. That can be for your lifestyle. It can be for your retirement. It can be a part of investing to create the legacy that gets passed on to the next generation. It is extraordinary. Over a 30-year period, that is nearly $1 million. That's $745,000 that is in your pocket. You've already paid the taxes on it. In your pocket. And again, it is, and that's just one, and it's based on the premise of correcting the withholding on your taxes. I mean, is that not extraordinary? That's what we're talking about. And so again, I want to encourage you. It's called, go up to Brent Harding Brent Harding at myecon.net. Brent Harding at myecon.net. And just take a read down on that first page. This is a DIY, and what I mean by a DIY is that you're going to be able to listen to the videos. I am here to help you through that process. So that you listen to the videos, you are certainly welcome to text me and say, Brent, I have some questions. And but you have the ability, it doesn't all rely on Brent having the conversation with you. You've got the Wealth Warrior broadcast here. You can literally become a member of this MyEcon. You can utilize this for pure, not adulterated personal use. You can say, hey, you know what? I'm going to use this and I'm going to create a business for myself. And you can do that too, but you don't have to. This is for you to create wealth. And it starts with membership. Simple. With that being said, I want to give you a little piece. Be on the lookout. I am going to be announcing in the second week of March, I am announcing a workshop series. I'll tell you the title of it is, I Want My Life Back. No, I want it back better. Have you had some pitfalls in your life? You've ever had where you're just feeling like, man, I just hit rock bottom and I stumbled my foot and took a look down to see what it was and picked it up, and it was a door that opened up and I fell in. Have you ever had that space? Or have you ever said, you know what? 10 years ago, I was moving and shaking. I'm not sure what happened, but I woke up and suddenly I don't know what the heck is going on here. This is for you. If you are looking good and feeling terrific, but the reality is you do not have a job, you are living off of your savings, you're living off of unemployment or something of that nature, and you want your life back better. And I say better because whatever you did, you do not want to repeat that. So if you want it back better, then you're going to want to watch out for the workshop series. It's starting the second week in March. I will have Eventbrite's up. You will hear details about that and the upcoming broadcast. So I just want to make sure that you know about this. With that being said, I want to share with you, again, just give you a recap of everything that we've talked about. You have heard it at least 4 times. So if I've said it 4 or 5 times, that must be important. We're talking about the tool that I'll be using for our broadcast going forward for the entire year of 2018 is going to come from the MyEcon. You can visit Brent Harding at myecon.net just to get ahead of the game and see what is going on that page. So we talked about that. Shared with you that the broadcast going forward is going to be geared for W-2 employees who need to make a change, that want that wealth building. And they say, hey, I keep hearing about the entrepreneur and the small business owner. What about me? I heard you loud and clear, and we have reformulated the broadcast just for you. With that being said, I wanted to acknowledge our early riser, Franz Condi from Condi Global Nation. Franz, if I'm not saying your name correctly, please forgive me. Tell me how, and I will say it right. I want to acknowledge Franz and say, early riser, you got it. Want to give a shout out, and again, the thank you to Pamela Stone. Mwah! First one to say good morning. Nancy Lewis Hill, yay! Juanita, I want to say it is a pleasure. I am so enthusiastic that you all decided to join me. We are ramping up and building up, first broadcast of the year, and I am here with you. We talked about minimizing taxes strategy, and the first way of minimizing the taxes is we've got to correct the tax withholding. That is a procedure. Please, you want to watch the videos, you want to hear what I'm saying, do not do what I did, which was to jump into a diet, not having all of the details, and turned around, instead of shedding weight, I lost weight. Instead of shedding weight, I gained weight. Why? Because I didn't read it. I thought I could shortcut it. Please do not shortcut it. This correct your tax withholding is extremely important, and it has to be done correctly. Also, we talked about the why. We talked about the why of it, because your take-home pay depends on it. You can use money. When you follow this method, you can use money to invest or reduce your debt. We've got examples of people that have literally saved as much as $500. They've been able to take home that $500, as much as $500, anywhere $300 to $500, taking that money home with them and investing. And I gave you the example, and it's a factual example of a person that's saving $500 a month, invested it in an investment that got an 8% return, and in a 15-year period of time, $175,000 to the good that creates lifestyle, changes zip codes, invests in family, invests in legacy, leaving for the next generation. And that's part of our tally, to leave for the next generation. I shared with you that I'm going to be live. I'm going to be live on March 28th, and I'm going to be rephrase, we are going to be live. I'll be there. Want you there too. This is an invitation. March 28th, Wednesday, networking and after party. If you were at E3 Power Up last year or even the year before, guess what? You're going to meet up with friends. You're going to meet up with colleagues at the after parties. I'm going to be doing them quarterly. After parties, the first quarter, happening on March 28th, Wednesday at the Point Boston, 147 Hanover Street. That's from 6:30 to 9 p.m. You can go by public transportation. I love public transportation now. Why? Because, parking, it's a bit steep. But there is parking. It's above the Boston Public Market, right across the street. Tickets will be available. And by the way, they are complimentary. Will be available on Eventbrite this afternoon at about 3 o'clock, so want to be on the lookout for that. And I am speaking. I'm going to be the keynote speaker at the Dudley Main Street's annual Women Entrepreneurs Breakfast. That's going to be at the Bruce Bowling Building, 2301 Washington Street in Roxbury. That's going to be on Thursday, March 29th. The topic is going to be networking. And it's definitely going to be different from what you saw on Wednesday evening. It's going to be a different shift. There's going to be some exercises around networking. Last year, 75 women at this event. You know that's got to be something. So I'm going to be at both of those. Tickets are available. They are actually on sale right now at the Dudley Main on Eventbrite. All you have to do is look up Dudley Main Streets. You will see that there. Lastly, I announced to you that I am commencing a workshop series called I Want My Life Back. No, I want it back better. And that's going to be happening the second week in March. Details to follow. And last but not least, I encouraged and invited you to get a step ahead on what's going to be happening on the Wealth Warrior broadcast by visiting brentharding.myecon.net. Look at all the content on the first page. Down at the bottom, you will see a spot that says Join Me, and you are able to get your own membership to the My Econ system. I'm continuously looking for systems, and I got to tell you something. By far, this is the best of the best systems, and I am appreciative that I did not discover this on my own. I got to give props to Dr. Wright, Letitia Wright, who brought this to me. Thank you, Dr. Wright. I am utilizing it, and I am encouraging folks to DIY it by getting their own membership. Wow. Did I deliver this morning? I certainly hope I delivered this morning because I gave it my best to make sure that I could. Baby, I'm back. And we are going to have an extraordinary 2018. And it's already started. I will see you next week. Go out today and be absolutely extraordinary. I will see you next week. Bye now.